definitely hit their head right there.
Wow. Look at that, man.
Everything else is good and clear.
That was coming out of the ground?
Yeah.
That's old stuff, huh?
Guys, this is Bryan again from Lake Hickory Scuba and Marina. If you are new to our channel, do me a huge favor. Hit this little subscribe button right here and ding that little bell as well. That way you guys are going to be notified every time we upload new content. Now, it is an absolutely gorgeous day out here. Look how pretty it is. It's very warm out here today. It is extremely windy. We did just have a front come in, but it's a beautiful day out here on the lake. And we are actually headed right across the lake from our facility. We're going right over here. That is the North Carolina Boys Academy, and they've got a cool little thing over there called Treetop Adventures. I'll drop all their information down below. Definitely go check them out. If you want a really cool place for your kids to be able to play up in the trees, they've got like a ropes course they can walk across. It's a really neat place to go and take your kids. But we're actually headed over there here shortly because we have got to do a survey of their cove, and we've also got to do a cleanup, a really quick cleanup. And even though we have been months and months and months since Hurricane Helene, our salvage team has been working their tails off cleaning up our lake and the local environments. And as I said, there's a cove right over here to the right of their facility. We're going to go run sonar, see what's down on the bottom, see what type of hazards they are there, because they have kids camps there that come in and they do a ton of swimming. They have the ropes course or the rope adventures. So we're going to go over there, see what we can find on sonar, see what type of cleaning up we can do and make it a safer environment for them. And hopefully they'll have a good, productive summer as well, where all their kids are staying safe as well. Alright guys, we're going to jump right into this dive, and anytime that you are getting into a body of water that you do not know what's underneath there, I would encourage you to do a controlled seated entry. Don't just do a rollback, don't do a giant stride, do a controlled seated entry. This is relatively shallow water right here, and with all the other debris that's been washed up in the area, I didn't know what's here, so I went ahead and just did a controlled seated entry. We're going to go ahead and zoom through just a really quick survey, if you will, an underwater survey of what's directly around the dock. As I stated earlier, we're being hired to survey and clean up the immediate area where the gentlemen from the North Carolina Boys Academy are going to be having the kids swims, where they're running and jumping off a dock. That's what he primarily wants to make sure is nice and clean and doesn't have any hazards. Once we get away from where my feet touched, as you can see, it was very, very shallow here. But once we get away from that area, then of course you'll see there's a center block there that we can remove if we need to, and any other major hazards such as say limbs, trees, stumps, anything like that. That's what we're really after. Now these rocks and stuff I'm not too concerned with here, but if we see anything that's going to be sticking up, such as this stump right here. So this stump we're going to go ahead and note really quick. Typically I would just shoot a buoy on it. However, I'm not very deep. I'm only like 8 foot deep. So I'm just going to pop up, let them know that there's a stump right there, and see if they can get me a saw, and I'll come back and actually cut that. And just showing him how big it is and about how tall it is, just to let him know, hey, I feel like we do need to get this out. As you can see, I'm at a distance where if a kid was running and jumping, or maybe even diving head first off this dock, they could potentially come down and hit that stump. So just confirming what depth it was at and telling him how big it is. I'm going to go ahead and continue on with my survey here while they go and get me a saw, and then we'll come back to this point and cut this out. But this is what we do. We survey around docks, swimming areas, things like that, for any type of hazards that could potentially be dangerous for someone if they were jumping in or just wading in the water. But I'm going to go ahead and drop back down. As you can see, I can very easily find this again. No need to actually mark it. But I'm going to continue up now on the opposite end of the dock area as well, just to see what's there. Then I'm going to swim over into the main cove area where everybody swims, where everybody kind of docks up their boat, just to see what it's going to take to get those trees that we saw a little bit earlier at the beginning of the video up. Got a little branch here I'm going to go ahead and pick up. Just these little branches are not too major of a hazard. They would actually flow as the water's flowing. They'll flow them through, but I'm going to go ahead and get them cleaned up while we're here. But we're starting to get up towards the front dock area as well, and of course I was standing on the opposite end, so it is going to get a little bit of murky and turbidity here that we're going to have to swim through, but it's relatively clean. I was actually shocked that there was not as much debris in the area, considering all the debris that's actually been washing through the lake since the hurricane. But we should be getting close to the end of the dock here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up what little trash and debris I can here. This is very easy to do. And as you can see, I'm probably about 5-6 foot of water here. I've made it to the front of our vessel now, which is, of course, the front of the dock area. And I didn't see anything. Decent viz. We have probably had about 3 to 5 foot of visibility, and it was relatively clean. Not too much debris, not too much that we should really concern ourselves with too much. But yeah, we'll get that out of there. Just reminding him that that stump does need to be removed. He's going to run get a saw for me. Of course, I'm going to cut it out and get it removed so it's not a hazard for anybody that's jumping in or swimming there in the area. But now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move over to the trees that we saw as we were pulling in our boat and see if we can get those removed. The first one that we saw, very easy to remove, nothing major there. I'm going to go ahead and get it pushed all the way up against land. Now, one thing that we asked is, did he want us to remove the debris that we found, or did he want to let the boys of the Boys Academy move it? And it was kind of a two-part thing. Remove what trash and debris we can, but anything big like this, he would actually have the boys swim out, hook up to, and then, of course, they can move it with their own boat. They do have a boat here at the Boys Academy. But I'm going to go ahead and get this semi-small / large tree up out of the way. We're just going to push it all the way up against the shoreline for them so they can wade in to get it. Throw some trash up there on top. They can pick the trash up as well. And we are going to go ahead and swim out into the center of the cove area there for them and check on that large tree that we saw, because I got a feeling it's kind of wedged up against the bottom here. So we're going to go ahead and swim up to it, see what we're going to have to do to get it removed or what needs to be done. This is a relatively large tree here. It's probably about 1.5 to 2 foot diameter, and it actually V's off, so there's 2 major branches here. So we're going to go ahead and swim all the way down to the bottom, see what's holding it on the bottom, see if it's wedged up against something or if it would move freely. Now, it is moving freely in my hand, meaning I can push it and it sways back and forth, but as you can see, it's just wedged into the bottom there. Wouldn't take much just to hook this up to hook a rope to it and pull the rope with the boat, and we could very easily pull this out in the main channel, let it go on downstream, or pull it on into shore, and they could use a tractor or something like that to get it out with. But yeah, as you can see, it's kind of like a wishbone shape here. And then, of course, we're going to come on up, make documentation of that, let him know, and then, of course, they can pull it out. Now that they got me a saw, I'm going to go on down and cut that little stump out for them really quick so that it's not a hazard or any type of danger to whoever's jumping in, swimming here. Shouldn't take long. It's probably, I would say, if I had to guess, maybe 3 inches in diameter. Not very big at all. However, it's the height of it that we're really concerned about, because we're only probably in about 8 foot of water. That thing's sticking up 1.5 feet, and so that would put it, around that 6.5 foot mark, which I could very easily jump in and hit my head at 6 feet. So go ahead and get this thing cut up. Shouldn't take long to saw right through this really quick, because it's old rotten wood. It's been under the water since the lake's been there, and so yeah, should be able to cut through this very, very quickly here and get it removed for them, and then we'll just do another quick little survey after this and kind of let them know how it is, and it should be nice and clean for them. So there, we got it cut off, and take it up, hand it to them, and let them know that it should be good and safe for the boys to swim in this year.
Yeah, they would definitely hit their head right there.
Wow. Look at that, man.
Everything else is good and clear.
That was coming out of the ground?
Yeah.
That's old stuff, huh?
There you go, guys. We just got finished up over there. We didn't have too much to clean up. There were 3 big logs.
We decided not to move those logs just because the boys camp's actually going to do it. That's going to be a project that the director is going to have the boys actually do. All they've got to do is just tie a rope to the top of it, drag it out with the boat, drag it to, say, the shoreline or whatnot to where they can get it out of the water, or just drag it on down the lake. But we got a little bit of debris cleaned up for them, and we got a major hazard that was at the end of their dock. So it was about 8 to 10 foot at the end of their docks. Those kids could have very easily jumped in, got hurt on that hazard, so I got that cut out for them there. But yeah, they're ready to kick off the summer. They're ready to have a good, safe time on the lake, and we were definitely glad to help those guys out. But guys, if you like this style of video, we used to make these videos in the past where we went out, we did lake cleanups, we showed all the projects that we were doing. But if you want to see more stuff like this, just drop me a comment down below and I'll try to make more. But until our next video, take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.